Yes, indeed, didn't we?
Test, 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 test.
Well,
How was your friend?
died today. Yeah. Huh? Yeah. You know, it was a long haul, especially from Monday until now. Yeah, but no, it was time. That
Mhm.
yourself. I'm Dale. Pardon? Okay. What was your name? SB. If you have a case before us tonight, if you could please sign in over here. Next to your, on the agenda next to your case. Good evening, sir.
Oh, he's good. It's his Wednesday walk with that group that they formed on. Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Good evening. I'd like to call to order the Village of Biscayne Park Code Compliance Board meeting of Wednesday, January 18. It is now 6:35 PM. If the code officer would please call roll.
Luciano Nibs, Code Compliance Officer for the Village of Biscayne Park. Roll call. Janie Anderson.
Here.
Dale Blayton.
Here.
Rodolfo Barriento. Judy Hamelberg.
Good evening, everybody. This is a meeting of the Village of Biscayne Park Code Compliance Board. The board is authorized pursuant to Chapter 14 of the Village's Land Development Code to ensure compliance with the village's Code of Ordinances. The members of the board are citizens and residents of the Village of Biscayne Park. We volunteer our time and we are not paid for our services. The purpose of each hearing is to give any alleged violators the opportunity to contest the decision of the Code Compliance Officer, which resulted in the issuance of a notice of violation, and to determine whether a violation of the village's code has occurred or is occurring. We are not authorized to dismiss violations based on hardships, ignorance, or the fact that others may be guilty of the same violation. These hearings are conducted in a quasi-judicial manner. Our responsibility is to act much like a judge in a court, and that is to hear cases presented by the village's code compliance officers and to hear contradictory arguments presented by the alleged violators. We are not authorized to change the code. The Village Commission is solely authorized to enact or revise codes. Conversely, neither the commission nor the village manager have the authority to overrule the findings of the board. Pursuant to Chapter 162 of the Florida statutes, orders of the board can only be appealed to the Circuit Court of Miami-Dade County. We have the authority to assess and order the payment of civil penalties, to issue orders having the force of law, to command whatever steps are necessary to bring a violation into compliance, and to assess administrative costs. In order to make a finding upholding the code compliance officer's decision, we must find that there is substantial, competent evidence that the named violator was responsible for a violation of the relevant section of the code as charged. All documentary evidence presented by the parties must be submitted for placement in the hearing file. No documentary evidence will be considered unless the alleged violator or code compliance officer submits a copy for the hearing file. Each party shall have the right to call and examine witnesses, to introduce exhibits, to cross-examine opposing witnesses on any matter relevant to the issues, even though that matter was not covered in the direct examination, to impeach any witnesses regardless of which party first called them, to testify, and to rebut the evidence against them. If you do plan to address the board tonight and you haven't signed in, please do so. Anyone wishing to address the board, the Code Department Administrative Assistant will swear you in. If you would please stand and raise your right hand. Anybody planning to testify, please stand and raise your right hand. Thank you. Oh, I'm sorry. We have minutes from December 14th. Did everybody have time to read them?
Have time to read them, and I just have a question. I have that on item under old business 5D. I had that Janie seconded the motion. I'm not sure, but I may have. Anybody else see that? Or have it differently?
5D.
If not, I'm
Oh.
fine with currently it's written as Rodolfo.
I did not take good notes on that, so I will go by what you're saying.
And I'll go by the transcriber. I was just wondering.
Okay.
If there was, anyone that noted anything different.
Nope.
Okay. Well, then I'll go with the transcriber. I'll make a
Okay.
motion to approve the minutes
Oh.
as presented.
I'll second. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, minutes approved, 3-0. Do we have any additions, deletion? Well, we do have an addition, obviously. Any withdrawals?
No withdrawals.
And now that I jumped ahead again, we are ready for you to present your first case.
Our first case, 11841 Northeast 12th Court. Case number EEN 19-205.
That we have a translator. There are 4 cases for abatement, and we have a translator. She's our building coordinator, and she speaks French. The respondent only speaks French. There are 4 cases for abatement, and if you want us to read those in the record all at once, that would be easier. All 4 cases, please.
Okay. The next case with that, it's 11841 Northeast 12th Court, EEN 210234. Next one would be 7F 11841 Northeast 12th Court, EEN 21-0708. The next would be 7G. That's 11841 Northeast 12th Court, EEN 21-0812.
So these 4 cases were all issued to the respondent, Eagle Kalele Investments LLC. The owner of the company is here tonight. They were all building violations. It took some time to correct these violations. They are all in compliance at the moment. One of the main reasons why it took so long for the respondents to come into compliance was the language barrier. The respondent only speaks French, and there was a problem communicating with our building inspectors. So there were things she understood, things she did not understand. It took a few years, and while she was correcting these violations, fines were running. She, however, has made an effort in making sure that all the violations come into compliance, which they are. And she has made an effort in paying down some of the money. She paid double fines on all of the permits that were supposed to be obtained before starting the work, to the tune of over $3,000, and our building coordinator can testify to that. We inspected the property. Inspector Nibs and myself went to the property, inspected the property, and I believe we have added into the record the picture of how the property looks now in comparison to how it was. They've done a good job in bringing it into compliance.
My first concern is on the application for fine reduction. There is a space that must be filled out saying what the applicant is offering. In all 4 cases, they are not filled out.
We did ask her if she wanted to put, and she opted not to put a number. She wanted to come to the board and see what the board can do for her.
That's really a critical component, and I would prefer, I don't know how.
No, I said the same thing.
You-
I just had a couple questions.
Yeah.
Is the property homesteaded? Is it a homestead property?
No.
So it is an investment property. And the other question was, I believe I came up with a total outstanding of $54,035.30. Is that correct?
It's roughly, yes.
Yeah.
it's roughly.
Well, I was just going by what I could determine from here,
Right.
from just the yellow parts. And I did have some questions on some of them. I figured it out, but, and my other question was, what was the resident or the homeowner, property owner rather, offering? Because without that, we don't negotiate with
Yeah,
ourselves.
we have nowhere to start.
Okay.
I I do have another question, going just on D for the moment, because I have notes on each one.
Yes.
On D, it shows compliance of December 27, 2022.
Yes.
But the fine calculation stopped February 25th of 2022.
February 25th, I believe, was when they got the permits.
Yes.
Violation,
Okay.
yes, the violation was for doing the work without
The
permits.
permit,
So once a permit is issued, the code violation does come into.
because it's contradictory though that the cover
The
sheet
fine
says
started.
1227
Yes.
and the calculation, so the calculation is correct.
Yes.
Yes, because I had the same question until I sort of delved a little further. I'm going, wait a minute, the figures aren't. And then I saw it was, the permit was pulled and I'm going, that makes sense, having sat here before and
Right.
Board.
it gave an opportunity now to
Mhm.
bring it into compliance or once
On-
once it was finalized.
On
Board.
D, though,
The
Code board
coordinator
members?
would like to add.
Hi, hi, my name is
On
Esperance
D,
Jules. I'm
I'm
the
not-
building coordinator,
I'm
if I
not
may.
seeing the permit. I'm sorry.
Hi, my name is Esperance Jules. I'm the building coordinator for Village of Biscayne Park. If I may, code board, the property owner just mentioned to me that this is a duplex property and she does live in the other unit at 118 43 Northeast 12th Court. And also I would like to input that the reason why she did not um, uh, enter an amount to propose throughout 3 years, I believe, since 2019, when these cases have started and the violations, again, with the language barrier. She has put up a lot of money into these properties as far as getting the permits issued, paying up to $3,085 in the permits and the double fines and also the violations, and also paying contractors and into the beautification of the property. She has run really low of funds, and that's why she's felt the need. She didn't know where to start to put a proposed amount.
She's at the mercy of the board.
The problem being, although she is now in compliance, property is at this point looking good. The fact is, there were some major violations and they lasted a long time. I'm sorry if there was a language barrier, but it's incumbent upon the property owner
Mhm.
to do whatever he or she needs to do to come into compliance.
Mhm.
If that means finding a translator,
Mhm.
whatever it may mean, but it doesn't mean you can take, in this particular case, 3 years
Mhm.
to fix the problem.
Mhm.
So, and we have to have a starting point. That's why we have to know, and we've always asked this is not new, where she is starting with her offer.
Okay. So you're telling me,
Yeah, Rodolfo.
can I
I was just gonna let you
translate
finish.
real
Yes,
quick?
that's what I
Okay.
was just waiting. for.
So you're telling me the total is about how much?
54,000 on the biggest lien, and then there are the 2,750 one and 2,300. Those are the two liens that she paid down.
Right.
So
and
roughly
total-
54,000.
Okay.
Yeah, there's the 830 for the one case.
54 is the total of all four.
Right,
Okay.
A little
So
bit,
second
with
cut-
some change and all.
yes.
Yeah. Second pattern. So eu vou prometer número onde eu te carreguei ou eu consigo l'argent vai Mhm. 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 Okay. 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 So another thing, she would also like the board to know within those 3 years of trying to bring the property up to code and address these violations, she's dealt with several contractors, given deposits. Some have run and taken her money away. During the pandemic, she haven't heard from them. She said she is willing to, despite all of that and where she's at financially, if she can propose at least $10,000.
I'm sorry, I think-
$10,000, I'm sorry.
So if I get this right, she's with the I'll make a motion to accept the homeowner's offer of $10,000 for the lien reduction, fine reduction of $54,035.30.
I'll second for discussion.
Can I quickly translate?
Sure.
Okay. Your motion for your activate. She said, thank you for your consideration.
I have a question.
Yes.
She planning to put the property on sale?
Es que yo puedo entrar. Okay. She said she have since lived in the house in the other.
I'm sorry, can you speak?
I'm sorry. She said she has since lived in the house in the other unit in the duplex, so she knows she does not plan to sell the property.
And just for clarification, everything has been, the permits have been finalized and
Correct. Everything is
the
final.
village is satisfied with the,
We are very satisfied and very proud of the work that she has done.
Yes, and as the building coordinator, I have finalized the last permit, which was the biggest one, which was a safety hazard issued for the septic tank. And
Yeah.
she definitely went ahead and closed that out. We finalized
The
it.
septic tank was a rather long, drawn out, agonizing issue, true.
So,
Okay,
so
out
she
of
had in
50
total the
sorry.
septic, the septic porch, demolition roof, and yes, so the septic port, demolition and roof all are finalized with the building department.
And we haven't had any other issues since these were all cleared, final.
Everything, we have closed all the code violations because they are all now in compliance. And we are happy to present, I think, the team with all the evidence, affidavits of compliance on each case.
given that the most, the worst one was actually remedied, which was the septic tank, and I did see where the property owner had taken steps to pay down against it on occasion, and
Right, that one, I believe that is the one that almost 1,000. No,
I believe that was Ian's.
there was one of them that she paid off.
0708.
1,000 down.
several have to go page by page, but on, as you see on several of the different ones, there have been attempts to pay down. The oldest one,
And that's not the septic on the, on case F, which is,
It was a payment of 4,000. She paid it down to $2,750.
correct.
Mhm.
And I see that on other ones, they were paid $300, $400, $250. Or I see a total paid of about $5,000.
Yes,
Against
yes.
what were.
Right.
And I can say for the past, I've been working for the building department since 2020. She's been coming in with as much as she can, little as she can, $100, $200, just to pay it down to where we're at now.
Satisfied with my motion.
I'm comfortable with it too.
Also, any comments?
No.
She would want to also say if
If
she
you please
can.
into the mic.
Oh, I'm sorry. Can everyone hear me?
Sure.
Okay, so again, she wanted to also, what she stated before to the code officer, she wanted to see if she can have payment installments, if that's
I'm I'm sorry, if she.
payment
can-
plan, if that's something that the board would consider.
On the $10,000 she had, I mean, we didn't have an amount, but she said if whatever amount the board comes up with, whatever the order will be, can I pay it over a period of time
But you know, the liens will not be released
until
until the
it's paid.
10,000 is paid in full.
amount is paid?
Lin na ap toujou ete sou kay lan, so sa vle di ou pa ka refinance, ou pa ka ven kal, ou pa ka fanyen until ou pay $10,000. I just told her that she understand that with the lien that's being on the house, you can't refinance or do anything like that until the lien is paid down. Until the lien, until the $10,000 is paid
Until it's paid in full,
in full.
no liens are to be released.
Okay.
So it's incumbent upon her to make every effort to pay it off as quickly as possible. The liens will sit there.
Okay. Yo di ko sa eske ou kapab kompon ki
Right.
until lien na pay
Are
down.
we comfortable that we have a motion and a second
You want to
uh,
call for a
to
vote?
accept $10,000 if, I'm sorry, it's your motion, not mine.
Well, no, I made a motion to accept the $10,000.
I think we all should put a part of it to make sure that if she does go with a payment plan, put it into the motion that no liens are
Right.
released until it's paid in full.
Well, I don't even think we have to worry about the payment plan. We just make a motion. My motion would be that to accept the $10,000 and the liens are to remain in effect until paid in full. I
Oh.
mean,
I agree.
Is-
Rodolfo?
Yes.
And that's on case number EEN-19-2005.
I think we heard it as one unit.
Right, well, I'm
Right.
putting them all together.
Okay.
Mhm.
Right, right.
Dash 21-234, 21-708, and case number 21-812.
Correct.
Combined total was $54,035.30. And my motion is to accept $10,000 for release of the liens once paid in full.
Okay.
Second. All in
And-
favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion
Again,
passes 3-0. Thank you, and thank you, Esty, for your
okay,
work.
she has two questions.
Okay.
Just to be clear, that covered all of the cases, right? The amounts and everything. So yes. As far as the payment installments, will she coordinate that with the code board, that supervisor? Okay, as far as dates and,
Sure, I can work with that.
okay, okay,
That would be the village's issue.
okay, okay. Thank you so much, board.
Administrator.
She says thank you.
Thank you.
She said thank you because you took her off.
Thank you very much, SB.
Thank you.
Our next case. It's 11910 Northeast 10th Avenue, case number EEN 17-0141.
Which, I'm sorry,
This
is A, B, or C?
Addition.
It's the addition.
I sincerely apologize to our honorable board for this very, very late addition. I really had no choice but to add this case to the agenda today, just because of how many discrepancies we found in this particular case. The respondent, so their representatives had come to the village this morning, or they were here earlier this week, and then they came in this morning, did a public record request. They wanted information on this particular case. So the village clerk asked me to review the case this morning, and I reviewed the case this morning, and I found several discrepancies. Before you is evidence of all the discrepancies that I found, and I'll quickly go through them. We are talking about a recorded lien, municipal lien recorded on February 4th, 2021. Book 333 on page 118, 1819 of the Miami-Dade County Public Records. In the lien itself, there are two discrepancies. The final order of enforcement on this case had a $50 per day fine imposed. The lien has $5. The recorded lien only has $5. I tried my best to put little stickers so you can see the differences. The date when the lien was supposed to start running or accumulating was supposed to be April 18 of 2017. In the lien, they have December 10, 2020. There were two discrepancies in the lien itself. If you go over to the affidavit of compliance that was filed by the code officer in 2017, the date when the inspection was done, which was supposed to be the comply by date, which was in the order, they put March 9, 2017. This is before the case even came to the board. So that's the major discrepancy. There was no date of when the violation was issued, but I found out that the violation itself was issued March 20th of 2017. And the date when they were supposed to correct it was supposed to be April 17, 2014, but they had April 10, 2017. So there were three discrepancies in the affidavit. This is a sworn affidavit. As I looked at the case, the face sheet of the case itself says the case was closed March 21. However, this closed case was sent to the board April 10 for AC without AC. It was supposed to be, the original violation was for wall units installed without permits. However, this changed to a central unit without a permit. And there's a big difference between a central unit and a wall-mounted air conditioner. That was another discrepancy that I found. And in the face sheet, it also says permits were obtained. The clerk and myself searched the records over and over this morning. We did not find a permit for any mechanical permit for this property. Coming to the violation itself, the order of enforcement that was issued by the board, the dates in the order itself are wrong. This violation was issued in 2017. However, the order says 2016, a year before. This is a signed final order, which was the basis of the lien that got recorded into the public records and is an encumbrance on this property. The notice of violation itself, a courtesy notice was issued. The photographic evidence, if you flip over, I know it's not very clear, but you'll see a wall-mounted unit. With the photograph that was taken March 20th, 2017. However, the courtesy notice says central AC unit installed without permits. Two very different things. Because of these discrepancies, I would ask this honorable board to release this lien and remove this encumbrance of this property. We as a village made too many mistakes in this particular case. I have no way of proving that this lien
Incredulous, to say the least. We need to keep this for any new employee as, don't let this happen to you. I'm just incredulous.
I
I'll say
understand.
no more.
And going forward, we are doing our best to ensure that these mistakes that we are learning from.
So as a
not
result,
occur.
potentially, we have air conditioners that have never been permitted.
It's very possible, but I do not have the evidence to support that.
Understand, it's a little late now.
So I'm asking this honorable board to consider releasing this lien from the public records.
I would make a motion to rescind the lien, the notice of the order of enforcement, and to remove it from, expunge it from the records.
I second that. I too, it's rather embarrassing on the part of
To say the least.
the codes. I agree. I second.
All in favor? I'm sorry,
Uh,
any more
Rodolfo.
discussion, Rodolfo? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes 3-0.
I thank you for taking the time to listen to this case.
Thank you for bringing it before us as
Right,
a,
and thank you for all the documentation that,
and gentlemen, thank you
Thank you
for bringing it to the
both.
village's attention also.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We'll mail the release of lien to the property owner. You're welcome, sir.
Our next case, item 7H. That's 11703 Northeast 11th Place, case number CEN 22-96.
Seven H.
11703 11th Place. I just wanted to remind both of you, and my mistake for not reminding in the beginning, we're working on the fine schedule that was included in the packet that the attorney sent us. That's the one we're supposed to be working from.
Okay, that's what, I had questions about that. 'Cause
Right.
That's coming up, though. That's not the case we're on right now.
That's the.
No, we're on,
No, but I'm sorry, that's the fine schedule. we're supposed to- I apologize. I should have brought that up earlier.
yeah, because I had questions on it.
There are three cases on this property, 11703 Northeast 11th Place. The first violation, which ends in 9/6, was a violation for overgrowth. We went to the property because there was a police civil disturbance that was called into our police department. And while inspecting this violation, the police called us because they found some code violations, which was some overgrown grass. That's the first violation. The second violation, overgrown grass, and there was a lot of debris.
Tremendous amount of
wood,
debris
yes,
and.
in driveway.
Yeah.
The other violation, and I'm gonna just go through all of them one time. 97 was a violation for the camper. This camper has been parked in the driveway, on the side of the street, across the driveway, for a very long time. The evidence that has just been submitted to you, that wasn't in the case, is the report from the police department of the civil disturbance for noise that was occurring. However, I would like to also say on the record that the police chief has come to code several times because of this camper. There's been several complaints from residents about this camper being parked where it's visible, being parked in the driveway, being parked on the side of the street. We have made several inspections to this property, spoken to the owner, renter, I think, of the property. The police chief, I think, met with her once. I spoke with a gentleman. It might be the gentleman standing there. I could be wrong, but he was a young gentleman that I found working there. He was cutting wood in the driveway using a power tool. So the next violation is actually not just for them parking the camper. There was so much noise, continuous noise going on because they were working out of this camper in the driveway. So there's plenty of wood, noise, and this camper has been a problem. Our codes do not allow for campers to be parked in a place that's visible to a public right of way. And I think I explained this several times to the people that I've met there. In the end, we had to issue these violations and we had to bring these cases to the board. I'm asking for maximum penalty because there's been so many inspections, so much contact made with the respondents. And Inspector Nibs just told me today he saw the camper again, was it yesterday? So there has been no effort to make any kind of compliance. So we are asking for maximum penalty.
In this case, though, I thank you for the overview, but I definitely would want to take each case separately.
Yes,
in-
I
in
agree.
this case.
Starting with 7H.
This is the debris and the overgrown grass and the piles of wood, et cetera. Comments, questions, discussion from the board.
No, I was just looking at the, I'm just going by the property maintenance and with all the debris and the look of the place. It's a mess. But-
Has the property been cleaned up? Would you consider it in compliance at this point? Or we still, okay, that's what I thought.
Well, I didn't. Just let us ask our questions and then y'all can do. Is it in compliance now? Has the wood and the yard been cleaned? Aside from the camper, just the maintenance.
They have removed the wood from the driveway, but they still need maintenance. There's a lot of dry leaves and overgrowth that needs to be done. I wouldn't close the case until I saw that they've done some landscaping and, make the property.
And the camper
Present.
apparently makes a move in various.
It's back and forth.
It's never really in compliance.
Well, the camper's not before us right now. Only
Right.
property
Well, it's
maintenance.
The
Yeah,
property
maintenance.
maintenance.
Property maintenance.
It's
The
just that it was
gentleman
part
that
of the pile.
supposedly drives this camper had mentioned to me that he works out of that camper. It's his work vehicle. So they are doing different things there, and as they are working, there's just so much disposal of paint, we saw paint cans and all sorts of things going on over there. So the property maintenance, they may have done some things, but I'm not satisfied. I want to see more.
And I need each of you, before you speak, please, to identify yourselves and your relationship to the property. That's the overgrowth and piles of wood.
Needs to be trimmed. Well, I'll absolutely be happy to come down to the property and meet with you. Mhm. You mentioned something absolutely important, that that is their livelihood. And I think this is why we've had this major problem with the camper. Not to jump to the next, when I spoke to the gentleman that was working there, he said, oh no, this is just a hobby. We're not making money from this. This is what he said to me directly. It's my testimony under oath that he said that to me. So with that, they are now coming to me as they are not telling the truth about what's going on over there. It's very difficult for me to help you resolve your issues if you're not telling me the truth of what's going on.
If The point that we're trying to get across is that whether you're making something or not making whatever, that has to be cleaned up. That has to be out of sight. And if you're running your business out of your property, that's another issue because we do require business licenses. So we've got,
All right.
but it appears to have escalated beyond a couple of pieces for a
Okay.
project.
May I make a suggestion, please, that we deal with the property maintenance
Maintenance
right now?
first.
And number two is I've got a message that the podium microphone is not
It's
turned on.
not, oh,
So
Please. Thank you.
thank you.
I think the issue of
No, the point
working
I
and
wanted
all
to get there
will
is you
come up
can't-
with a nut with
Okay.
the other ones.
you know, you can't. That's not a defense, the fact that she's working from home. It's not a defense of the way the front yard.
So
looks.
like if I work from home, like if I do computer work from my home and I'm living
Well,
in my
at this
house doing
point, we're-
work,
As Joe
I'm supposed to
mentioned,
have
we
a
are more
permit to be doing
concerned,
computer
but-
work from my home. Just as much as I'm supposed to have like a permit to do an art project from my home. I just don't quite understand. And I'm trying to like wrap my head around it.
If I may interrupt, with regards to the property maintenance, I'd like to make a motion to find that there was a violation that occurred, assess a fine, and I'm trying to look at these new fine things. This is a first violation, and I see under that it's $25.
That's administrative, 250. That's the administrative citation.
Oh, thank you, because I had questions on this whole
Right.
process.
And that would be the same for the daily.
A fine, there was a violation that occurred, assess a fine of $250, have until February February the 1st to come into compliance and get with the code officer if there are any questions about compliance.
And
If not, a daily fine of
250.
$250 per day.
Okay, so
Which
maybe
one?
That's a fine of 250 given till February 1 to come into compliance. If not, a $250 daily fine. Is
Correct.
that correct? I will second for
Second for
no,
discussion.
Second. I'm good. Any other questions? Rodolfo?
Oh, I'll just make maybe a comment. I mean,
Sure.
if, if it's all related to the noise produced by the work that they're doing.
So that was a
They're
different-
sort of intertwined, yes.
Sort of,
We're gonna-
that's how it came before, that's how the village, was notified. An officer was there, noticed how the property had several code violations. And from there, the code officer went out there and the citations were issued. That's how we came to the property maintenance.
Right.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes 3-0.
So I just would like clarification because when I called to about the crates and that violation, I didn't get a call back. And then I just asked to meet on the property to understand what the complaint is as far as the vegetation. So this is the fourth time I'm asking for an explanation. So I'm not sure what the violation is for, what the fine is for, the 250.
As we've explained, sir, the violations involve property maintenance, involved the overgrowth, the wood, the debris, and now, according to the code officer, it's still not completely removed and in compliance. There are still other aspects. And she did agree, I believe, Doreen, that you'll
Yes,
meet with the
I'll be
gentleman.
happy to meet with you at the property and show you where. Now, if you wanted to look at the pictures that we have, so you see the condition of the property when we got there to do the inspection, that's how your property looks. So there's a whole bunch of dry leaves, there's overgrowth of shrubs. Trees are falling over and needs to be nicely trimmed. I know it doesn't, but if you flip over, you'll see more of the dry leaves next to the vehicle there. And absolutely. Oh, absolutely. But the violation was not just because it's property maintenance, was not just for the overgrowth, it was also for all that mess that you're looking at in the pictures. I get that, but when we got there, we saw a violation. All that mess was in the driveway. And that's why we issued this.
We need to move to the next case.
The next case is for the camper. Like I said earlier, this camper has been in plain view of a public right-of-way. So many times we've been there, talked to them. I mean, I avoided issuing the violation, hoping that I would attain compliance by just being courteous, talking to them. But it took a while and there was no compliance. They would remove the vehicle for a day and 2 days later, we see it parked out there. And we received numerous complaints through email, through telephone, people walking in and complaining about this camper. It's an eyesore to the neighbors. And I had explained, I think, to the gentleman that was working there that recreational vehicles by village code cannot be in plain view. There's a huge backyard at that property. If they put it in the back and nobody can see it, we're good with that. But this vehicle is in the driveway, it's on the side of the neighbor's street, it's across the driveway, it's in front of the property, it's all over the place.
And
So-
actually, the code is really very clear.
It's very
that it
clear.
cannot be in the swale.
And it cannot be in plain view of a public right-of-way. It's very straightforward.
I mean, this is his vehicle. I don't know. if it's- but, This is, it's his vehicle. It's not like it's, you know, it's not like he's like living out of it. It's just his vehicle.
Doesn't matter.
It's a pickup truck. It's not a camper.
It's a camper when it's got that top on
Well,
it.
I've been stopped by 3 different cops and they've come up and they talked to me and they said I can park in the swell and it was legal for me to park in the swell. I've
I'm
been told
sorry for
by-
that misinformation, but in fact, if you go to look. at the
Even after
code,
I talked to her, a cop stopped by and said, you are completely fine if you park in the swell. I've even talked to the neighbor that I park in
was there
front
that
of, and the neighbor has no problem with me parking there. So
Once
there's
it
not an
has that,
eyesore. None of the neighbors, I mean,
once
on
it
that
has
side.
that topper on it, it becomes a camper. It goes under the RV ordinance, which does not allow for it to be in front of the front facing of the house, nor does it allow parking on the swale. Perhaps it would be good to make sure that the police have any motor vehicle oriented codes so that
Yes.
they can be better equipped. It's-
Well,
And the complaint for the camper came to me from the police chief.
well, not only that, but if it was brought to, if it was already brought to the, renter's attention or the owner of the vehicle's attention or the property owner's attention that it was not in compliance, I believe you were saying you gave them a courtesy call, courtesy notice. Once that is issued, regardless of, it's coming from a code official. So if a police officer or any resident is telling you otherwise, it's incumbent upon you to find out from code. You've already been placed on notice. And if it still continued to happen until it resulted in a citation, a notice of violation, seems to me that you've been placed on notice and take a resident's or a neighbor's information over the code officers.
I took actually the officer, the police officer.
I'm just going by what you said. One was a police officer as well as the
No,
neighbor.
I said, I asked the neighbor if it was okay if I parked there. I wouldn't ask
But
about the
it's not
code.
up to
with-
the neighbor to decide that. The code officer is here to communicate. The codes are laws just like any other law, and it's their responsibility to properly communicate. I'm sorry there was misinformation. That's why you heard me just ask them to please make sure our police officers have every motor vehicle type ordinance so that they know better. The fact is, it can't be on the swale, it can't be in front of the front facing. Gonna have
When
to
it has
find
the
another
camper
place
top
for it.
on.
I'm sorry?
When and if it has the camper top on.
That's
Because
correct.
it's no longer a pickup truck. It has a camper top on it.
In other words, if you can remove that top, then it's a pickup truck.
The only reason I was saying that is I had a long conversation. with him. He informed me that I was.
Sir, again, I understand when you get information, you want to believe that.
Well,
but
that's what
fact
police
is-
officers do. They enforce the
Well,
code.
Fact is, they don't necessarily know the codes. They are here to enforce the civil laws on their end. They don't know the whole code routine. We may have to make that change, but it's not up to me.
Well, Janie, the second thing is that we're already placed on notice, sir. If you were placed
Exactly.
on notice by a code officer, a code official, regardless of what the police officer had told you, and then it becomes between those two, you should go back to the code officer and say, hey, the police officer's telling me something different. I just wanted to verify or validate what you're saying, not just
You can't play both sides
ignore
against the middle.
and then after you got a notice of violation, from what I understand, if the testimony is correct, it continues to be parked there.
Because
Yes.
it's my personal view.
Well, sir, you were placed on notice not once, but several times through courtesy notices, then with a courtesy conversation, then with a notice of violation. And from what I understand, there were several times after they witnessed, the code officers have witnessed the vehicle being parked. And I would have liked to have seen the code officer cited a second and third time.
This is why I'm asking for maximum penalty, and after this, it will be a repeat violation. I will bring it back to the board as a repeat violation.
Ready to make a motion?
Yes, in case number case number PLCEN 22-97. I make a motion to find that a violation has occurred, assess a fine for a first-time violation of $250. And as it's currently not there, there is no daily fine. I mean, if it was repeat, then it would be brought before us as a,
If I find it, then
Yes.
tomorrow I'll issue another violation.
It'll be
I
a
will
second
transmit that
violation.
share to them.
Then I would second that. $250 fine. At this point, it is not parked in the area.
Well, as of yesterday, 2 days ago, he saw it, but they keep taking it back and forth. Now, after
Well, he
them
drives
listening to the,
it. It's his car, you
personal
know?
vehicle.
So-
Again, like we've been through it, you can't park it in front of the front facing of a property. You can't park it on the swale. Okay, so we have a motion and a second. All in favor?
aye.
Aye. Motion passes 3-0.
last case, ending 99, was for noise. The evidence that we presented today from the police department is how this violation came to us. It was a civil disturbance for noise. When I arrived at the property, the gentleman was working with a power saw, cutting wood. And from the complainant's information that was given to us, they had been doing it over a period of time. Now, continuous noise is a nuisance and it's against the ordinance. And this is why we issued this noise violation.
If I may ask a question, this is this is the police officers,
This was provided to me by the
that's
police.
dispatch
Yes.
calling in.
And apparently, because there are emails in the backup that show
Yes.
this was a continuing thing. It was not just.
Right, several complaints that came in, we provided that evidence to you, that complaints came in several times. It wasn't just a one-time thing. We received
Yeah,
several
there are some,
complaints
if you
about the
guys
noise.
see, there's some emails.
Yeah.
Any questions, any comments?
It did, when we received the notice on when we received the notice on December 5th, yeah, I believe it was September 5th, that gave us a to comply by date of December 12th. And we weren't making any noise, haven't made any noise since. So we have complied to this.
But yet there was more than one violation. Would you consider they're in compliance now?
The violation did occur, and because this is noise, I wouldn't say that the noise has continued up to today or up to this hour. We did find them in violation at the time that we received this complaint.
I do hear noise like in the neighborhood, though. I hear people like working with power saws often. So
Very possible. Some of those people do have permits to work.
Apparently it went on late according to some of the backup we have. It wasn't just quick, once and done, middle of the afternoon. Apparently it was ongoing and late.
Well, those are my questions. Could you give some testimony as to the times? Because if it's during the daytime, I'm hesitant about finding someone in violation of using a power saw during the daytime.
Let me get the backup.
Now, I do see emails from residents stating, midnight.
Yeah.
we weren't
2
working as
p.m.
late as
to 2
midnight.
a.m.
We were definitely not working as late as midnight.
Janet, if you would, please, if you want to come up,
And
your name, and I want to make sure we you sworn in.
swear.
My name is Dan Schneider, 11705 Northeast 11th Place, next door to the subject property. I do, yes. Yeah, this was going on for weeks, probably 6 weeks. It was happening at midnight. It was happening at 1 a.m. I'm speaking. It was going on at midnight. It was going on at 1 a.m. The RV is still parked. I took a photo on my way over here. It's parked on the swell right now. It's typically hanging out into the street, like at least this far. And quite frankly, I hope that you will enforce the fines to the maximum. We do a lot to keep our street looking good. The neighbors keep it up. And when we have a problem property, it snowballs, and that's what we have now. And what you're dealing with right now is the tip of the iceberg. There are screaming matches in the middle of the night and crying, and it's not fun. So.
It's over into our backyard. You have to be
Okay.
All right, can we just deal with this?
Thank you.
Personal issue, don't care about.
No.
Want this part right here.
Personal issues are not for us.
He's here to harass us.
Excuse me, sir. We have to go solely
Please, just like-
by,
You are here
The
to harass us.
violation.
Wait. Yes, you are rude. You are rude. You are
Excuse
rude.
me.
folks, we need to rein it
I am
back in.
too, And he's saying that we were working for
Ma'am.
6 weeks, and that's not the
Let's
case.
keep the.
We need to rein it in.
The podium was open for you to give your testimony. You can't go back and forth with the other witness. Board.
Sorry, I just think that he's giving you infactual information. He makes us uncomfortable in our home. We never yell. We don't have screaming matches. It is my sister and me that live together with her boyfriend. It is a comfortable space. We are not having yelling matches. We did not work for 6 weeks. He is lying, and he has done nothing but try to make our life a living hell since we've moved in. And I am not lying to you.
We are not here to discuss those type of civil matters. We can
Yeah, but I'm
only
sorry,
deal-
but by him showing up for no, like, why is he here? Why?
Yes, he has every right to be here.
If there was, all this noise at 1 o'clock in the morning, were the police called at 1 o'clock in the morning? Is there a police report? Or midnight and 1 o'clock in the morning? I just want to know that.
One report started back in November.
And when she says that they had complied with the noise, they had the 12. This is 21:15 when the police received the
So that's like 9:30.
9:15.
That's 9:15 p.m.
And then another complaint on December 29 says there's a great deal of noise coming from the property.
29th? We weren't,
December 29th.
we weren't doing anything on December.
Well, we received that.
We weren't working
email.
on any project.
You
But
have
was
received
this
that.
a police report?
This is an email that we received. It's a complaint.
No, I'm
This
asking,
report says 21.
9 PM.
I'll be happy to provide.
that's the one.
It's public information. For the noise, yes, we have that one.
One
that
police
one.
report.
Right. However, the police has been there several times, like you heard
But
from him.
I've spoke with him.
Yes.
And he was like, he literally was like, I don't hear anything that's disturbing, but if you know that you're doing something that's disturbing, you should stop. And we were like, hey, you know what? It's 9 o'clock. You're right. We should stop work. But we were not working till 12 or 1 AM, nor were we working for 6 weeks. It was like,
Because actually, I believe our construction ordinance,
I just, no way,
6 or
I just feel
7,
we're being
not 9.
harassed. Right. I personally feel that I'm being harassed in my own.
And I'm sorry you feel that way, ma'am, but we have, I could give you an example. We have a construction ordinance, and I do not remember the exact time, but I do remember you cannot be doing construction type work at 9 o'clock.
Yeah, and we fixed this. I have a studio, like I've like taken it away from the neighborhood. Like this is really like the first time that we've gotten serious complaints like this. And we've taken it away from the neighborhood. I'm doing what I can. I'm paying extra money outside of my rent at my house
I
to make sure that I
understand.
take it out of the neighborhood and leave this
I
as a peaceful
understand and I
neighborhood. I'm
appreciate that.
doing what I can,
But-
and I don't, I don't need somebody to come in here and lie to you and try to make us look worse, saying that we're screaming and that we're, I'm sorry, but
We have to deal with, while I appreciate that you're working to rectify the situation, we have to deal with what occurred. There was an offense, so we need to proceed. Anybody like to make a motion?
I'm looking over the code.
no, I just
Okay.
feel like
Right
it's
here.
something that we've cured and I put a lot of time and energy into curing it. And like, it took me a long time to find a space to take this out of the neighborhood. We have literally done what we can. And I just think that that should maybe perhaps be recognized by like the court
You
here.
feel at this point there is still an ongoing issue?
At this point, we haven't received any other complaints for noise. It was a unique situation. While we've had other issues, say with the camper, this was the first time that I received a complaint for noise. So I would give her the benefit of the doubt.
I will make a motion in to CEN 22-99, a violation did occur. It appears to be in compliance at this point, assess a $250 fine and close the case when paid.
Yep. I'm trying to here. And the reason I mean is that I do believe there was a violation. I'm just looking at where
But remember, we've had noise cases before, so we want to keep the consistency.
yes, I don't. I said I don't remember them as being at 250. That's why I'm. I do think that there was a violation that has occurred. If the testimony is that it's been moved off of the property and there is no current. Because if it does come before us, then it's going to be a vendor.
Right.
And
If we do vacillate from the schedule.
well, that's why I'm trying to find the schedule. So that's why I want you to.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I like for consistency, but at the
Yes,
same time, I was looking
absolutely.
for. And in the past, I don't recognize
Yeah, they were fairly high. Ah, thank you.
that's for administrative
We're all for
citations,
administrative. So
right?
this was an also-
I may be wrong, but I was.
I don't think so. I could swear we did. Oh, now I get to it.
You have. Nope. This is what we were given by the attorney. Second that, as I, like, for the record, I do think their violation did occur. I'll second your motion.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes 3-0. Thank you.
Can you explain to me like what the fees are and what the motion was that was just passed for that last one?
On the property maintenance, $250 fine. You have until February 1, and the code officer did say she would go out and meet to kind of give you some suggestions on what it has, what still needs to be done to come into compliance. If it's not in compliance by February 1, then the daily fine will be $250. On the trailer, $250. And if not removed by 2-1,
No,
just
it's just a
250.
it's
250.
not there currently.
It's not there currently, you're right. And on the noise, $250.
On the noise, it's 250 as well. Were we not going to like speak a little bit further about the fact that like we put like time into like really solving it and we did comply by that date?
And we've gone through everything possible. And the only one that has the potential for a daily fine is the property maintenance one. At this point, the others appear to be in compliance.
Okay, thank you.
Our next case, 7A, that's 910 Northeast 113th Street, case number EEN 22-0526.
Notice of violation was issued way back in June,
This was June, yeah.
yes, of 2022. We did a reinspection of this property January 10, which is last week, and the roof has still not been cleaned. Non-compliant.
Have they made any contact with either?
No, none.
I think that's what bothers me most, obviously, is 7 months. And not to have reached out and say, hey, I've got a problem, I can't come into compliance right now, work it out. That to me is a significant issue. Just ignore it.
Two days together. I mean, because it's, yeah, it's a visual fact.
Sure.
You know, everybody's looking at the video. I don't feel bad about that.
No testimony. I mean, it was, the notice of violation was August the 16th. There's, if the,
5
if
months,
it's still
right.
not in compliance, I find that I'd like to make a motion that a violation occurred in case number EEN 22-056. assess a fine of $250 and come into compliance by, it'll take you about a week to get these out, signed and,
Yeah.
and sent out.
Safely, yes.
By February the 12th, if not a $250 date, fine thereafter.
The orders of enforcement have also been certified.
We do send them to the office.
What's in the?
I'll second that.
It's a 250.
Rodolfo, did you second?
No, you
I
did.
said, okay. I didn't know if you were saying. I'll second. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes 3-0.
Our next case, 7B, 951 Northeast 111 Street, case number EEN 19-2021.
We would like to report to the board that this case is now in compliance. They've paid all their fines,
They made all the
all the years.
Well, yeah, I had made several notes. And number one was with the permitting fee, it said plus 25% of the fee for years. In addition, 19 for year 2019, 20, 21, 22. I'm just asking.
Actually, I think it's
That was
in
all,
16.
that was all added in there.
It started in 16, Dale.
I would,
Pardon?
It started in 2016.
Well, no, but
No.
that's not what was before us.
No.
2019. and
started in
on.
19. So this was from the database of them.
Right.
Okay, yeah, I was just wondering.
25%, I would have to come back because we are not the ones who collect the money. It's collected by clerical staff in the office.
Right, because when I was looking over what the supporting documentation, it said
Right.
that if, in that whole little, what our code calls for, it calls if it wasn't paid within X number of
Mhm.
time, we can
Right.
start assessing
Right.
a fee of 25%.
You're absolutely
A
right.
penalty up to 25% plus administrative fee. So I would hope that the village is trying to
Tracking
collect
this.
their administrative fees for all these years at some point. I know it may be behind us right now, but
I will definitely
Right.
look into that. Very
Um,
good point.
because I was going, that would be a sizable addition,
Amount.
because a regular permit fee, is what, $100,
140.
140?
Because the reason I mentioned 16 is because if you look on the cover sheet that Christina Caserta had done, it shows from 2016. But had she come into compliance?
Well-
16, 17, and 18?
I believe from what her,
I'm sorry, what am I missing? Because I'm not seeing
Um,
the years.
What,
she claims that she didn't have any tenants 2019, so I'm assuming going back, if there were no tenants in the property, I can't prove it.
Right.
I'm just going by what I was given. But that's a really good point. I'm gonna have to look into it. Linda has been helping us compute these. I'm not sure how much money was paid. I would look into it and see if.
Because, and thank you so much for including the ordinance. I would have absolutely been lost without that. That made a big help. If it does say, I can find it again, I should have highlighted it.
what are you looking for, about the extra percentage and
You're
all?
correct.
Well, it's there.
Okay.
I will have a meeting with the village clerk and we'll go over these numbers
See,
to make sure we have them right.
that any interest, any late fees that
Is
she
paid.
owed were also paid.
Absolutely.
And that was one other question. Well, if we can finish this case, so I'd like to make the motion that the property owner on case number EEN-19-2021 has paid and come into compliance. Close the case.
I'll second. All in favor?
All right.
Aye.
Thank you very much for bringing that up.
Are there any more cases? Because I did have.
Yes.
We have the dumpster.
Next case, item 7C. That's 1103 Northeast 116th Street, case number EEN 21-0123.
the dumpster gone?
With this case, I'm actually asking for a dismissal. Reason being, when this violation was issued, our property owner had changed. The property was sold
That's what
in
I was gonna
2020.
say. It's two different names.
Yes, the property was
Thank you.
sold in 2020, but our officer issued a violation in the old owner's name 2 months later in 2021. So this case has been sitting out there. I wanted to bring it to the board for it to be dismissed.
I would make a motion to dismiss.
I'll second. That's for case number EEN 21-123.
That's correct.
Yes. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes 3-0.
This is only one comment, and I mean, we settled the case, but I did notice on some of our calculations of outstanding for the liens and all, or outstanding fines for a fine reduction. I don't see where we had included administrative
out.
costs.
Right.
No, the breakdown was there for the most part of everything, but I was noticing some of the highlighted for administrative costs. And I think we're allowed to charge for administrative costs, given the amount of work that the village
That's
staff
right.
does.
Right.
And I just think that we should be including that.
That this is how much the administrative cost, and we highlight
Mhm.
that. You're absolutely right about that too.
I mean, it's gotta be provable, obviously, but there is a lot that goes into the lien process, the follow through.
It should be. The order will always have that.
Yeah, generally, the administrative costs, we don't address because it's just part of what the village, can't, I believe by the code, is allowed to recoup or charge for,
Mhm.
such as a double permitting fee. We don't
Yes.
necessarily repeat it because it's a process that the village already has in place and should be charging. So I just wanted to bring that up. I don't think it would have changed our outcome of the,
Yeah, but
I
that's
agree.
definitely a good point. Something for us to pay attention to.
assessing.
Right.
Because there's certainly
To
staff
add, as
time,
we
there's
calculate, make sure the
staff
administrative. fees-
time, certified mail, any of those
Oh,
things
absolutely.
should be incorporated in the final calculation.
Right.
Yeah, because we're not here to make money, but we are here to cover our costs.
We're
Make
co-
sure we cover
recoup
costs.
what we spend, sure.
Adolfo is looking, Raphael is looking for a raise too. Luciano maybe too.
Okay, we have the update from, if everybody's good that we finished the cases, we have the discussion, the update on 121st Street.
That should be 8A, item 8A.
Mhm.
Yes, I saw
Nice.
that. I don't know where I put it, but
Got it here.
I did read it.
Oh, It's fairly benign.
Exactly. I was gonna say it's rather lacking in information,
Right.
just that, hey,
Right. We're working on it.
we're working on it, but we've heard that each time, so.
Have they been communicating with you guys?
Not directly with us. We have to reach out to them for us to get an update like this one. However, I know that sometimes they do communicate with the village manager. I can't say for sure when, what time.
Right.
But
I'm mainly looking for, March,
comprehensive-
March or April, because we
April.
said till
I think we said-
through March, the
Yeah.
first quarter. So in April, there should be something definitive.
Okay.
And that's when I guess it would come before us as
With a
nothing's been done or something's been done.
right, comprehensive report.
So do we need a motion on this? Motion to accept the, no?
I think we're good. The next one is, okay, the information package that the village attorney put together. So this is something I wish we had a long time ago. Now we know what we're up against, what we're supposed to follow. And also having that little background on what our scope is. Any comments, you guys, anything that,
No, I was just, there were several things and I see we have, I mean, from this, it looks like we have a generic, if it doesn't fit within the parameters of what else is down here, like with this last case with the noise violation, I'm looking, I'm going, I'm gonna have to resort to my old one, which is what.
well, one of the big advantages to me in working off what we were provided from the attorney is we run less of a danger of having random numbers that at some point come back to haunt us because we're not always going to remember that, okay, for this item, we did exactly this.
Mhm.
And even though theoretically cases can have some differences, unless they're provable differences that we can defend, we're probably better sticking to what's, what's in writing.
Right, and I had no problems with that once I had something to go off
Sure.
of. Otherwise,
Sure,
I'm
sure.
looking
You're
over to my
lost.
old one
Right, of course.
and because.
And she also did provide us, there are a couple of ordinances that really surprised me. Anything to do with the pool, for example. I don't know if you- Right, anything to do with the pool is 250 max on a first offense. And I'm sitting here thinking, a pool is a life safety issue.
Well-
And yet, anything to do with a pool is, bear with me, I can give you the. I know it's in here. There's something to do with.
Yeah, it's on page 11,
with
chapter
pools.
11.
And that, oh, there it is, I'm sorry, I saw accessory structure and I've never referred to pool as an accessory structure. That's me. 250.
Yeah, but I would have to read 11.9.6 because it says with any provision of section so-and-so shall result. So what is the parameter under 11.9.6? Because it may be specific to certain things.
But statutorily, 250, according to what she's communicated, that's it.
Yeah, but I mean,
Unless it's
when
irreparable or
when have
irreversible.
we cited for a pool besides installation of a pool, but that may be cited under a different thing.
It-
You don't cite it for, when have we ever cited it? Oh, you got a dirty pool,
Well,
that's a
I'm
250,
thinking of fence issue,
but that wouldn't be a pool, that's,
but your fence around the pool.
I would think that it depends on what it says under
In the section, yeah.
3.9.6.
May specify exactly.
I mean, I'm
Yeah.
not disagreeing. It's just that apparently statutorily for the state, 250 is your highest, except for irreparable and irrevocable things. Other than that, 250 and 5 are your highest for first and repeat offenses by statute. Am I correct?
And I hear you. And I would just
Which
say,
really floored
I would
me, I
look,
have to
I would
say.
wait until, see how it was cited.
That floored me. I was so surprised. But that also means electrical without a permit. Things that we've come to know as being life safety, we can still only go to 250 on that first violation, but it is what it is.
Well, that's where the other things become in, such as building. The building officials should come in at that point. If it's a life safety,
Yeah.
nobody should even be going into the property. So
True,
it should be,
true.
you know, stop
Yep,
order or, you know,
exactly.
do not enter. I mean, I don't
Exactly.
know how we do that, but if it really is a life safety, why is somebody staying there? You know, you can order all the money it is. If somebody goes get electrocuted, it's, you know,
Exactly.
$1,000 means nothing.
And everybody should have gotten the list of our meeting dates from Shantae. Right off the top, I have 3 that I know I'm not going to be here. I'm not worried about November. We can deal with that later because I'd rather Judy be here. But February, I do have to worry about. So could you guys pull up your calendars and you folks, please, really important, let me know in February, because I know I'm not here for the 15th, would either the 8th or the 22nd work without messing you up? Well,
The
of course,
22nd would be better for us
I'm sorry,
because it gives us more time.
The-
Just
the 22nd,
the 22nd.
As far as I know, I'm here.
Gail and Rodolfo.
Which one is this?
February
February?
22nd.
I'm good. Oh.
No, she can't make, Janie can't make it here.
Oh.
Is the 22nd a good date for you? As it stands now? 22nd.
I,
We'll work around Janie's schedule, so we don't.
well, I'd really, honestly, no, honestly, for, because we're such a small board, I would rather, if you guys know in advance, you won't be, that we change for anybody.
I hear you.
Why?
Janie. I'm
Because
giving you a
look
hard
at-
time.
Look at, no, look at, I know you are, I appreciate that. Look at tonight, Judy is excused. You could have been stuck at work, anything could go on. So I think for anybody, you know in advance, you're gonna be out, let's make
Okay.
every effort to move it. I'd like to look at April if you don't mind also, because I'm concerned if we wait too long for April, there'll be no other choices. And April 19th is what Shantae has. If we move it to the 26th of April, is that gonna mess us up then in May because it's too close?
Yeah, just like February 22nd and March 15th are pretty close for us to prepare another agenda.
Is there another day?
Yeah, doesn't have to be a
We
Wednesday.
can just go to the next, oh, it doesn't have to be a Wednesday?
No.
Just has to be the commission isn't meeting and no other board.
Okay, so that we'll have to go and look at their calendar.
Would you rather not do the 22nd?
Well, the 22nd is fine. It's just that March 15 is very close to the 22nd. We need a little bit of time. for-
February is a short month.
Right.
Yes,
Well,
that's it.
if that's gonna mess you in March,
I'll look at Shantae's, calendar.
Yeah. Going on, so we.
And then once we change this date, we'll send you a copy of the changes and see if that goes
Exactly.
with you guys,
Well,
then we can go
if
back
you
and
guys
forth.
wouldn't mind, would you look in April also?
Okay, what date would you like in April 26th, you say?
Well, if that's gonna give too much, I mean, it doesn't have to be a Wednesday, so why
No,
don't you
we
tell
can-
us some other date? I mean,
Yeah.
something that works.
Because other than when I'm not here,
I'll say, I have no, this is my life, coming here. Once a month to hear
and
cases.
I can't say what I'd like to say. I'm good anytime in April, as near as I can.
I'm with you
tell,
on that. This is all we do.
Except for the 15th to the 23rd. Other than that, the week of the 16th, I'm not good.
Why don't you go ahead and tell us in February what week you're not here? And the
Uh,
dates that you won't be available, because there's no need to even set something if it's a date you already know you won't be here.
In February, I'm out the week of the 13th. That's
13th
that's
through
15 is
when?
out.
Through the 18th.
13th through 18th are not good dates. Okay. In April,
In April, I am out 15th through 23rd. We can worry about November later.
yes, we'll have to talk about December.
Yeah, exactly.
I go to South Carolina.
Sure. But you want to tentatively do February 22nd, or would you rather go look at other dates?
I would like to look at what Shantae has.
Great.
and we'll send it.
I so appreciate that because I'm always conscious, I can suggest a date, but if it backs you guys up for the next month, I've accomplished nothing. So better for you guys to send us, don't you think, a number of dates and we can,
Look at them and.
but as far as I know in February, like I said, other than that 13 through the 18th, I'm good. That's one less thing. And so far, April is the same way. It's just that one period of time.
Just those 2 months for you?
I'm sorry.
It's just those 2 months for you?
November also.
Oh,
but I figure
November.
November's a little far. So, November, I can let everybody know, sure. Absolutely. November is probably November 8th through the 19th.
December? What dates are we?
That's, yeah.
Generally, I go to South Carolina the week before Christmas.
Christmas?
And
So this is
and the week after. So I'm not sure what that date is.
That is,
And on occasion, we have missed December.
December, yeah, we had it on the 18th this time, so this
Yeah.
last year. So we're gonna have it earlier. December.
I mean, I can, as it gets closer, I can give you a better time, but I pretty much, if it's on the
The last-
20th, I
like
would,
the last 2 weeks.
yeah, I would probably be traveling that week.
But just figure you the last couple.
The last, or we would use we would do it early in December. All right, I'll discuss this with Shante, compare the dates, and then I'll send you.
Any other questions, discussions, stuff?
I'd like to make a motion to dismiss or adjourn.
I'll second that.
Dismiss.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And that's what, at 8:08?
Thank you very much.
Thank you. As I've already told Stoffel, sorry, got 2 Rs now.
Yep.
Raphael, I did not delete his message.
Oh, you'd be good.
Yeah. Luciano, he comes up and just puts my package and run. I don't know, maybe you say hi.
Stops to make.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. Oh, well, I'll have to get a computer before I can see Dropbox. Oh, I thought you. Mm-hmm.
So.
Oh. Oh, cool.
It was so fast.